You wake up every morning facing a war, not with the world, but with the weaker version of yourself. The one that says, I'm tired. The one that whispers, maybe tomorrow. That version of you has stolen enough days, enough dreams, enough strength. It's time to hunt it down and kill it before it kills your potential. You weren't born to be soft, scared, or stagnant. You were built to evolve, and evolution demands sacrifice. Not of others, but of the weaker parts of you. Every excuse, every hesitation, every comfort zone, that's your prey, and it's time to end its reign. There's a moment when you realize that the biggest battle of your life isn't out there in the world, it's inside you. Every morning, before your feet even hit the ground, a silent war begins. The weak version of you wakes up first. It tells you to stay in bed a little longer, to skip the grind today because you deserve a break. It convinces you that comfort is peace, but that's the lie that kills dreams slowly, day after day. The truth is, the weaker version of you is not your friend. It's your enemy disguised as safety. It wants you to believe you can live an easy life and still reach greatness. But the reality is, you cannot rise while holding hands with the version of yourself that drags you down. The weak version of you has habits that feel good but do nothing for your growth. It feeds off procrastination, excuses, and fear. It keeps you small by whispering that you'll start tomorrow, that you're not ready yet, that you need a better plan before you begin. But that voice doesn't care about your success. It only cares about keeping you in the same place. It's a parasite living in your comfort zone, feeding on your wasted potential. And the longer you listen to it, the stronger it becomes. Until one day, you don't even realize you're following it anymore. You start defending it, you start protecting it, you start calling weakness balance. But deep down, you know that's not true. Deep down, you know you were built for more. To kill the weak version of you, you must first face it. You must look it in the eye and recognize how much of your life it's stolen. How many moments, goals, and chances it's destroyed. That realization isn't comfortable, it's painful. But pain is the entry point to transformation. Until you confront what's holding you back, you'll never break free. You must call yourself out. No more pretending. No more lies. No more maybe later. The weak version of you dies the moment you take full ownership of who you are and where you've been hiding. Once you see it, you must declare war on it. You can't negotiate with weakness. You can't compromise with it. You can't tame it. You have to destroy it. That means doing the things you've been avoiding. It means pushing when every part of your body says stop. It means refusing to listen to that inner voice that tells you to play small. You have to prove to yourself through action that you are stronger than your excuses. That's how you break the chain, not by thinking about change, but by living it one hard decision at a time. Every choice you make is a battlefield. You either feed the weak you or the strong you. When you choose comfort over discipline, you strengthen your weakness. When you choose courage over fear, you weaken it. Every time you take control of your thoughts, your actions, your habits, you're sharpening the blade that cuts through your old self. This is not a one-time fight. It's daily combat, because that weak version will always try to crawl back, disguised as logic, comfort, or even self-care. But you'll know better now. You'll recognize its voice and silence it with action. This is how real strength is born, not in motivation or hype, but in the quiet moments when no one's watching, when the weaker voice says give up and you respond, not today. That's the moment you evolve. That's when you rise above the version of yourself that once ruled your life. Killing the weak version of you isn't about violence. It's about transformation. It's about choosing growth over comfort, purpose over pleasure, and discipline over doubt. Because the weak you doesn't die when you talk about change. It dies when you act like the person you were meant to become. And there comes a point in every person's life when they realize the truth. No one is coming to save them. No one is going to pull them out of their darkness. No one is going to hand them motivation, and no one is going to fight their inner battles for them. It's a harsh truth, but it's also the most liberating one. The weak version of you thrives on waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for the right moment, waiting for someone else to give permission to move forward. But the reality is the right moment doesn't exist. There's only now. And every second spent waiting is another second the weak you grow stronger. The strong you takes the same uncertainty, the same fear, the same lack of guarantees, and moves anyway. The weak version of you believes that progress will come when conditions are perfect. It wants safety, assurance, predictability. But the world doesn't reward comfort, it rewards courage. You'll never be ready, not fully, not ever, but readiness isn't what separates the strong from the weak. Action does. You must stop bargaining with your fears and start making decisions that scare you a little. Every great transformation begins the moment you stop seeking comfort and start choosing discomfort as the price of growth. If you're waiting to feel confident before you start, you'll wait your whole life. Confidence doesn't come first, it comes after you take the first step. The weak you always has an excuse ready. It blames circumstances, timing, people, and even luck. It hides behind phrases like someday and I'll try. But someday is a lie that robs you of your power. There's no magic day coming when everything will align. You have to make that day happen. The strong you doesn't rely on luck or motivation, it relies on discipline. It shows up even when the body aches, when the mind doubts, when life feels unfair, because true warriors don't need perfect conditions. They create progress through chaos. When you stop waiting and start moving, something incredible happens. You shift from victim to creator. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. You realize you've always had the power. You just never used it because it was buried under excuses and fears. You begin to see that strength isn't built in comfort, it's built in motion. In doing what you don't want to do, in pushing when you feel stuck, in taking control of your story one hard step at a time. You stop expecting help from the world and start demanding greatness from yourself. The weak version of you is addicted to external validation. It wants someone to notice, to approve, to say you're doing great. But the strong you learns to validate yourself through action. It doesn't wait for applause. It earns self-respect through consistency. Every time you take ownership of your choices, your failures, your mindset, you reclaim a piece of power the weak version of you gave away. That's the real shift. When you stop asking why me and start saying try me. When you stop needing help and start being the help your future self needs. The truth is, no rescue is coming. Because you were never meant to be rescued. You were meant to rise. Every great warrior, every great survivor learned this lesson the hard way. They stopped waiting for someone to show them the path and decided to build it themselves. That's how transformation begins. When you stop being the person who hopes things will change, the weak version of you wants to be saved. The strong version of you learns to save itself. And once you do that, no one can ever take that power away from you again. The weak version of you lives for comfort. It craves the soft bed, the easy road, the painless route. It disguises laziness as rest and procrastination as self-care. It tells you that you've done enough for the day, that you deserve to relax, that pushing harder isn't worth it. But what it doesn't tell you is that every time you give in, you're feeding the part of you that's keeping your potential locked away. Comfort isn't peace, it's a silent prison. And the longer you stay there, the more your dreams decay inside it. You cannot grow while protecting your weakness. You must starve it. Starving your weakness means denying it the comfort it feeds on. It means doing what's hard, not because it feels good, but because it builds you. When your mind screams, I can't, that's exactly when you must. Because that's the line between the old you and the new one. The weak version of you wants to stop when it gets tired. The strong version pushes past exhaustion. It's in that extra rep at the gym, that extra hour of focus, that one more try after failure. That's where transformation begins. Every time you choose discomfort over ease, you take power away from your weakness and give it back to your strength. You see, weakness doesn't die overnight. It dies slowly with every small act of discipline. It dies when you wake up early, even when your body begs for more sleep. It dies when you work while others rest. It dies when you choose water over junk, when you choose to read over scrolling, when you choose to grind instead of complain. The weak version of you cannot survive in an environment of action. It suffocates under discipline. That's how you kill it, not by shouting at it, but by outworking it every single day. The truth is, Comfort feels good only because it demands nothing. But anything that demands nothing from you gives nothing to you. Strength is built in resistance. Growth is born from struggle. Every great person you admire once stood where you are. Tired, uncertain, tempted to quit, but they kept going. They didn't wait for the feeling of strength. They created it through movement. You build your spirit the same way you build muscle, by tearing it down and letting it rebuild strong. Each moment of discomfort is a signal that you're on the right path. Because pain is not your enemy. It's the price of evolution. When you choose to live beyond comfort, you become dangerous, not to others, but to the weaker version of yourself. You no longer need external motivation because your purpose becomes your fire. You wake up hungry to win, to improve, to challenge yourself. You stop chasing easy wins and start craving growth. Every time you push through a hard moment, you teach your mind a powerful lesson. I don't need easy. I need purpose. That's how confidence is built, not from talking, but from enduring. So when your weakness whispers, take it easy, remember that ease is the graveyard of greatness. Don't feed it another excuse. Don't give it another inch. When you feel tired, push once more. When you feel defeated, rise once more. That's how you starve the weak version of yourself, by proving every single day that it no longer controls you. You've lived long enough listening to that voice of comfort. Now it's time to silence it with your actions. Comfort's had its turn, now it's your turn to conquer. Strength isn't born in the moments when everything feels easy. It's built in the fire, in the chaos, in the cold, in the moments where life tests you and pain feels endless. The weak version of you runs from struggle, avoids discomfort, and hides when things get hard. It believes that pain means stop, that struggle means something is wrong, but the truth is, pain is the only teacher that never lies. It doesn't care about your comfort, it cares about your growth. Every time you face difficulty, you're being shaped, refined, not punished. The strong version of you understands that struggle isn't a sign of failure. It's the forge where warriors are made. You have to stop seeing pain as the enemy. Pain is proof that you're alive, proof that you're still fighting, proof that you haven't surrendered. The weak version of you interprets pain as a signal to quit. But quitting doesn't make the pain go away, it just guarantees regret. You can't escape struggle. You can only choose what it does to you. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. Every challenge that life throws your way is an invitation, an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, more resilient. It's in the storms that character is revealed, not in the sunshine. The difference between the weak and the strong isn't luck, it's endurance. The strong endure where others escape. They embrace the grind, the pressure, the loneliness that comes with growth. They understand that diamonds aren't formed in comfort but under crushing force. So when life presses against you, when everything feels too heavy, that's the exact moment you're being shaped into something greater. Growth isn't supposed to feel good. It's supposed to stretch you beyond who you were yesterday. Every scar, every failure, every sleepless night is molding you into a version of yourself that weakness can't recognize. The weak version of you wants comfort because it fears pain. But fear and pain are the very elements that build strength when faced head on. If you avoid pain, you avoid growth. If you avoid struggle, you avoid greatness. The key is not to run from the fire, it's to walk through it and learn from it. Fire doesn't destroy what's real, it burns away what's fake. It strips you of excuses, ego, and illusion. What remains after the fire is truth, raw, unbreakable truth about who you really are. When you stop running from your pain and start embracing it, everything changes. You begin to see challenges as training. Every failure becomes a lesson, every hardship a stepping stone. You realize that life isn't testing you to break you, it's testing you to prepare you. The weak version of you prays for an easy life. The strong version prays for strength to endure a hard one. And that's the mindset that separates winners from quitters. Because the world doesn't get easier, you just get tougher. So the next time you feel the weight of struggle, don't wish it away. Feel it, breathe through it, use it. Let it sharpen your mind and strengthen your spirit. Remind yourself that every strong soul you admire was once broken. The only difference is they didn't stay broken. They rebuilt themselves in the flames of their own pain. That's what you're here to do. You're not meant to escape the fire, you're meant to become it. When you learn to see pain as a tool instead of a threat, your entire life changes. You stop hiding from challenges and start seeking them, knowing they're the pathway to mastery. The weak you avoids the storm. The strong you becomes the storm. Because true strength isn't measured by how much you can lift, it's measured by how much you can endure without breaking. And when you finally accept that pain is your forge, not your prison, that's the moment you stop being fragile and start becoming unstoppable. Fear is the oldest enemy you'll ever face, and it lives inside you. It disguises itself as reason, whispering that you're not ready, that the risk is too high, that failure would destroy you. But fear doesn't destroy you, it traps you. It builds invisible walls around your potential, keeping you confined to a life that feels safe but empty. The weak version of you listens to that fear, obeys it, protects it like a friend. Believes fear keeps you safe, but what it really does is keep you small. If you keep listening to fear, you'll spend your life wondering what could have been instead of living what can be. Fear has a clever way of justifying weakness. It doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers calmly, rationally. It says, be careful. It says, now isn't the right time. It says, maybe next time. But every time you listen, you hand it control. You surrender another dream, another opportunity, another piece of your courage. And that's how the weak version of you survives, by convincing you that hesitation is wisdom. But hesitation kills dreams faster than failure ever could. The strong version of you knows that fear doesn't mean stop. It means go. It means something powerful is on the other side of that feeling, and you have to move through it to claim it. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's mastery over it. The brave don't feel less fear than the weak, they just refuse to obey it. They walk forward even as their hands shake and their heart races. They understand that fear is a test, a gatekeeper to your next level. It's there to see how badly you want what you say you want. You either prove your words with action or you prove your fear right by quitting. Every time you push through fear, you gain strength. Every time you give in, fear grows louder. The weak you listens. The strong you challenges it and moves forward anyway. You have to stop letting fear dictate your life. Stop waiting for it to disappear. It never will. Fear doesn't leave you when you become stronger. It evolves with you. The key is not to remove it, but to use it. When fear rises, let it remind you that you're alive, that you're stepping into the unknown, that you're growing. Fear is just energy. You decide what to do with it. Let it paralyze you, or let it fuel you. The strong version of you turns fear into focus, into adrenaline, into determination. You don't conquer fear by avoiding it. You conquer it by walking straight toward it until it loses its power. Every fear you face becomes a memory of courage, and every fear you avoid becomes a scar of regret. The weak you collects scars, the strong you collects victories. You have to decide what kind of story you're going to tell when it's all over. One of surrender or one of defiance. When you're afraid to fail, remind yourself that failure is not death. Regret is. Failure teaches. Regret poisons. Failure gives you another shot. Regret locks you in the past. The strong version of you knows that fear will always exist, but courage is a choice, one you must make daily, even when it hurts. So when fear starts whispering that you can't, don't argue with it. Act. Move. Take one step forward, even if it's shaky, because fear feeds on stillness and dies in motion. Once you act, fear loses its grip. Every great achievement, every great transformation began with someone doing it scared. You don't wait to be fearless, you build fearlessness by facing fear repeatedly until it bends. That's how warriors are made, not by escaping fear, but by using it as their fuel. You were never meant to be fearless, you were meant to be brave. Fear will always exist, but it doesn't have to rule you. It's time to stop letting it decide what you do, who you become, and how far you go. Let fear follow you if it wants, but make sure it follows you forward, because the weak version of you obeys fear. The strong version looks it in the eyes and says, you can come with me, but you don't get to drive. Discipline is the weapon that kills the weak version of you. It's not flashy, it's not exciting, and it doesn't need applause, but it's the most powerful force you'll ever master. Motivation is temporary, it burns bright and fades fast. Discipline is steady, it's the quiet engine that keeps you moving long after motivation is gone. The weak version of you depends on feelings. It acts only when it feels ready, inspired, or confident. But feelings are fragile. They change with the weather, with mood, with comfort. The strong version of you doesn't care about feelings. It cares about commitment. It shows up no matter what. Because discipline doesn't ask, do I feel like it? It says, it's time, let's move. Discipline is what separates those who talk about goals from those who live them. It's what builds consistency when everything else falls apart. The weak version of you looks for shortcuts, hacks, and easy ways to reach success. But shortcuts create softness. They rob you of the growth that only comes from struggle. Discipline forces you to face the grind every day, the early mornings, the hard work, the repetition that no one sees. It teaches you that progress isn't made in leaps, but in inches, in the thousands of small choices that no one claps for. And that's what makes it powerful, because discipline doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you chip away at the weak version of yourself. When you show up even when tired, when you work when no one's watching, when you give your best in silence, you're sending a message to your weakness. You're not in control anymore. Each act of consistency is a strike. Each moment of focus is a blade. And the more you practice discipline, the sharper that blade becomes. Over time, the weak version of you doesn't disappear instantly. It fades, it quiets, it weakens, because discipline starves it of the one thing it feeds on, inconsistency. Discipline doesn't mean perfection, it means persistence. It's waking up after failure and trying again. It's showing up when results are invisible. It's believing in the process even when you can't yet see the payoff. The weak version of you wants instant gratification, the reward without the work. But the strong version of you understands the long game. It knows that real power is built through repetition, through sweat, through days when progress feels microscopic, but movement still happens. Discipline doesn't give you immediate comfort. It gives you permanent strength. You see, the disciplined person doesn't need external validation. They don't need others to believe in them because they've built belief through proof, through doing. When you stay consistent, when you keep promises to yourself, your confidence becomes unshakable. You stop doubting your worth because your actions prove it daily. That's how you earn self-respect. Not from words, but from endurance. Discipline is self-respect in motion. It's you saying, I am worth the effort every single day. And that mindset kills weakness faster than anything else. But here's the truth. Discipline isn't something you do once, it's something you practice for life. Because the weak version of you will always wait in the shadows, ready to return when you let your guard down. That's why you must train every day like a soldier. You must protect your habits, your focus, your mindset. The strong you knows that discipline is freedom. Freedom from chaos, doubt, and regret. When you're disciplined, you control your life instead of being controlled by it. So, keep your routine sacred, keep your words solid, keep your grind consistent, even when it's boring, even when it's painful, even when no one sees you, because one day when you look back, you'll realize that every disciplined moment was a step away from the weak version of you and a step closer to the warrior you were meant to become. Discipline isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's not about restriction, it's about liberation. When you master it, you don't just kill your weakness, you bury it for good. And in its place you rise, unstoppable, unbreakable, and unshakably strong.